covered. We explored the material that we are referring to when studying for the risk management, and the approach of this understanding of risk and standard. Actually, it works like a guide. So the guide will provide you with the best practices, template, the tailoring method for all those aspects. And then there is some principles that the risk management is focusing on. The principles are as following: the strive to achieve excellence, which is mean we are have higher predictability when it comes to the outcomes. This prediction actually is both qualitative and quantitative. Um, when we are talking about excellence, also we are focusing on the process maturity and reaching to the optimal level of performance. Alignment, it means that we are in alignment with the plan of the ERM, with the organization itself. We should align our risk management to those values, to those outputs. Impactness, it means that we need, when applying the risk management, to understand what is the impact of each risk and to the value of the project. Why it is important to understand the impact? Because we are trying to make the balance. When talking about balance, we are trying to say that whenever this risk is of a high value, which is mean align with the organization, it means that we will focus on it. Either it was a threat or an opportunity. Balancing, it means that we understand the principles and apply it in a balanced way. It means that we understand what is the resources within the organization to apply on it the processes of risk management to get the outcomes. The culture, it means that we trying to foster the risk adaptation within the organization. Rather, it was on the management or on the team members as well. Complexity, understanding the complexity of the project, of the organization, the nature, the size, will reflect on the tailoring. Again, this is one principle. So you can see that how each one of them is interlinked to the other one. Continuous improvement, this is what we are looking for. Continuous improvement, it means that we are going to use the resources in hand to reach to the maturity of the processes. Again, we will optimize the resources under our hand to reach to the value of the organization that the organization put in the beginning. Again, this is the structure, and we cover some concepts, the definition of those concepts. We understood already the difference between the threats and the opportunity. And once it's realized, we call it issue or benefit if it was positive. And we distinguish between individual risk and overall risk. Risk attitude actually is what is the behavior that the company is adapting when they are discussing the risk. Are they adverse, tolerant, risk seeker, or neutral when it comes to that? The risk appetite also, it is an indicator for the company need, for the company attitude toward risk, to how extent they are willing to chase or to avoid any risk. The risk threshold, the key word here is a range. Whenever we see a range in any question, in any real example, project example, we are putting a reference that have a maximum and a minimum range. The risk tolerance, it means that the range that we accept before making any actions. Trigger condition, we refer to it as a warning sign. And we go in details with those definitions, exploring those definitions in details. Again, something else we covered in chapter 2 is the risk management in organization. Um, we agreed that the organization have something called the governance board, the organization governance board. This governance board have different governance. The risk can be a separate committee or board, or can be part of the organization governance. Why it is important to understand this? Because each role have their own responsibilities. So the organization governance is responsible for setting all the plans, all the threshold that the company is going to seek, um, and the appetite of the company. Uh, who's going to be responsible for forcing those plans and processes is the organization level, the ERM level. When it comes to the project, to the component of the hierarchy, which is the project, the program, the portfolio, those people are responsible to implement what they received from the governance board. We agreed that this book is covered on a base of domain, or they are considering the hierarchy within the organization as a domain. So what are these domains? The project domain, the program domain, and portfolio book domain, and the ERM domain. We explored the risk management as a general concept in each one of them. Either it is enterprise or portfolio or even program. We understand the concept, what is the component of each risk within these different levels. So today we will continue what we will cover. We will close chapter 2, which is we're going to understand the key success factors. You know that whenever you are trying to do anything in life, not only in project, you always put in your mind that there is some elements that I need to apply to make sure that my endeavor is successful. So when it has come to project risk management within the projects or the program or the portfolio, we are going to focus on certain elements like recognizing the value of the risk management, individual commitment and responsibility, open and honest communication, organizational commitment. Again, we are talking about risk management, tailoring risk effort, integration with organizational project management. So those will be our key success factor to reach to the value that the organization is seeking from the beginning. So what they are trying to say when they are talking about the and recognizing the value of the risk management, managing risk in a balanced way, in a professional way, will lead us to reach to the value. So applying the risk management in portfolio, program, and projects is going to be recognizing by the organizational management, must be recognized by the organizational management, stakeholders, and the team member. Why? Because they, in the end, want to reach to the target of the investment. They want to reach to a positive return on the investment. How they are going to do this? By applying the discipline of the risk management. Individual commitment responsibility, it means that every person within the organization, either it is portfolio or program or project, they need to participate to the success of the risk management within the organization. So sorry, just a second, I put it silent. So everyone recognizing his role and their responsibility within this particular knowledge area will lead to a professional or a proper management for the risk, and as a result, the success of reaching to the goal or achieving or realizing the value of the projects or the organization as a holistic view. Okay, another factor for our success as in managing the risk is the open and honest communication. How this is going to be achieved? Everyone is involved in the risk management process. This is the first thing. And everyone need to adopt the right action and attitude regarding those communication of any risk. Of course, we are trying to manage the risk to reduce the threats and increase the impact. So the honest communication will lead us to have an effectiveness management regarding the risk management and applying the decisions in a proper manner. Organizational commitment, it means that the organization is going to establish organizational commitment actually is established when the risk management is aligned with the organization goals and value. So we need to commit to the plan, to the mission, to the vision of the organization. We need to put in our mind while managing the risk that there is a value, and those management for different elements, either they are risk for the risk when we are talking about opportunities and threats, they need to be aligned with the value. Otherwise, there is no value in managing irrelevant items to the organization. And of course, when we are talking about urban organization, we are talking about all the components underneath the organization, which is the portfolio, the program, and the projects. Another element for our success in managing the risk is the tailoring of the risk efforts. Understanding from our understanding to the principles, you can relate to the success factors. Actually, that's why I try to go quickly on those risk principles. Tailoring, actually, it means that you need to understand the resources the resources that you are managing and apply the resources on the projects by tailoring the needed tools, which is again in compliance with the size of the project, with the complexity of the project. To achieve always we need to keep this in mind. We are looking for a value. We are managing this project to achieve a certain objective. So everything needs to be aligned with the objectives, but we need to keep that the principles and the guidance of the risk management actually is not applied 100%. We need to pick and choose what is suitable for our project. Integration with organization. Another key factor is the integration. So without integration, it means that everyone is working alone. The alignment is not happening. So what you need to do as a project manager or as a risk manager or someone who is maybe in the board, you need to integrate the the organizational project management within your scope of work. Risk management does not exist in a vacuum, isolated form. Other organizational from other organizational project management process. Successful risk management require the appropriate execution of the organizational project management and the ERM processes, including the allocation of resources necessary for the effective application of the risk management. So from the beginning, the board or the governance committee, they have established the policies, the procedures that serve the objectives of the organization, that serve the strategic objective of the organization. So whenever you are trying to manage your work and manage the field of the risk management, you need to integrate your processes within the initial rules or initial process applied or implemented or forced by the uh, governance of the governance board. Okay. The last chapter is chapter 3, business context of, which is covering business context of risk management in portfolio, program, and project management. After that, section 2 is covering scope of accountability, responsibility, and authority. The last thing is general approach to risk management. As you can see, guys, what we are, the principles that we are talking about, you find there is a repetition there. But but in what sense we are repeating those items from from the angle that we are focusing on when we are explaining the risk management. What I'm trying to say that in the beginning, we are trying to explain to you how the principle, how is the book is established, and then we are trying to say what is the principles that we are covering in the risk management, and then they are trying to explain to you what is the main terminologies and how these terminologies fit within each domain within the risk management. And the last thing, now we are seeing how this will fill with the context in the with the context of the business context, and again from the perspective of the scope, we are going to understand what is the the responsibilities within each domain. Sorry. In all organizations, we encounter internal and external factors that influence the ability to achieve desired objectives. Achieving those objectives is rarely ensured. Okay, what they're trying here to say that the project actually is not isolated. There is internal factors rendering the project success, and there is external factors that might render the project success. All organizational activities include risk. This is um, this is something you need to keep in mind, that even the activities of the organization will encounter some risk. An organization manages the risk through people, process, technology, and information. For you as a risk manager, you need to manage people. You need to understand the knowledge. You need to use the proper tool. You need to understand the information. Remember in the last session, we talked about the elements of the project management. We said that there is a knowledge, there is a tool, there is the skill of the project manager or the risk manager in our case, and of course there is the procedures, the technology, right? Tools and technique, the technique, what the application or the combination of these items will lead us to a successful management for the risk. So as a manager, you need to increase your skills. As a managers, you need to understand your team members' skills and enhance those skills. So, whenever you are trying to manage any project, you need also to manage the people. Okay. As a project manager, also, you need to apply the right processes after tailoring them to your project. You need to assess the risk in a proper manner, so you will apply the suitable technology. So remember, in the people who took the PMP, they know that there is a sophisticated tool called Monte Carlo for risk assessment. So if your risk is not it is not of that value, you will not apply a very expensive technology. Portfolio program and project managers are responsible for risk associated with their endeavors. These managers are responsible for working with the stakeholder at various levels of the organization and applying the systematic integrated approach to the risk management. Okay, here it was a general description for what the project manager is going to do. And here they are trying to dig more into the details of those elements that he is managing. As a project manager, you have internal, we agreed in any project, we have an internal and external factors affecting your project. So you have internal and external stakeholder that you are need to manage. You have, we said that there's uh, those external elements might influence your ultimate goal. So you need to apply also the management of a stakeholder in this case, if they are stakeholder. If it is a material or processes, then you need to apply the proper management for the processes and the material. How how is the organization is structured is very important for you to understand before applying the risk management. You need to understand your position with the organization. Are you someone who work with the organizational strategy and objective? Are you a member of the governance body? Are you a member with the portfolio management body? Are you in the program? Are you working with the operation? You need to understand your position with the organization. You need to understand the position of your project within the pyramids of organization. Of course, for any organization, before applying there for any organization, there is a vision and mission. The vision and the mission is the value actually or the objectives of the organization. How they are going to translate this vision is by having an organizational strategy to achieve the objective. Okay. As you can see, the portfolio always in the middle because they are working as a bridge between the operation, between the portfolio, between the program and the program, aligning them with the vision and the mission of the organization. So the risk is going to be managed from the top to the bottom and from the bottom to the top. If we reach to the top area, we are then affecting the overall, we have a threat that might affect the overall value of the organization. While we are in the bottom, it means that the risk is still of less threats to the organization. The risk permeates through the pyramids. The organizational strategy set the direction through the vision, the mission. The strategy defines the specific goals and objectives for the organization. Some threats arise when a strategy or business objective are not aligned with the organizational mission and vision or core value. Additional threats arise when business objectives do not support the strategy or when endeavors such as portfolio, program, and objectives are not aligned with the business objectives. So this is again what I just explained. The risk might happen from the beginning by not having a proper strategy, or from the bottom by not aligning with the strategy of the organization. Opportunity could be enhanced when a strategy and business objectives are well aligned. What is applied on the threats is applied on the opportunity. So when we are still talking about the business concepts, and to explain the business concept, we need to understand the organizational framework. Last time we explained that when we are talking about risk management on the enterprise level, we are including the operational activities. So you will not find operational activities in the projects. You will not find operational activities in the program. But Once we reach to the portfolio level, we might have some operational activities. Okay. And we gave an example by having a holding company. An example for portfolio, a holding company. The holding company, they have or they are running different investments and projects underneath their management. They might have an existent operational activities like having a factory, having a marketing or a logistic arm. All those elements are of operational nature. On the other hand, they might have projects, new projects that they are establishing under the portfolio to achieve the enterprise value. Risk management includes all domains of the organization: enterprise, portfolio, program, and projects. So this is the framework. ERM is an approach to manage risk that reflects the organization culture, capability, and strategy to create and sustain value. It covers the policies, the processes, and the methods by which organizations manage risk, both threats and opportunity, to advance the mission and the vision of the organization. So the ERM, they are responsible for setting the threshold, for setting the company or the organization appetite, and also for setting all the policies and the procedure. At this level, we are talking about threshold, we are talking about appetite, we are talking about policies and the procedure. Portfolio risk management drives the policies and the processes, methods, and tolerance from the ERM framework and tailor it for the management of the portfolio. So the portfolio here, they are the bridge between the enterprise and the below elements within, or the below domains within the organizational framework. Similarly, programs and projects adapt their respective risk management practices from portfolio framework. Who's going to implement those elements? Who's going to implement those policies and procedures? Both the program and the project managers and the team, of course. Who's going to oversee the risk management of the ERM? The governance body. So this is a second role for the governance body. The portfolio, program, and project managers manage and monitor communication with internal and external stakeholders, which is required to instill the importance and value of the risk management, expect culture and behavior, and risk attitude. So the communication, when it comes to the risk management, is the role of everyone, is the responsibility of everyone with the organization. Okay, just a second, just a second. Thank you. Another thing that we need to cover when we are talking about business context is the organizational context itself. The application of the ERM is influenced by the industry, regulation, and organizational context. Again, we cover two concepts: the alignment and the tailoring. Both of them, they are influenced by many factors. We said one of those elements are internal, like the business nature, like the project nature, project size, complexity. Another external factors we are considering now: the regulation, the industry itself, the industry type itself, the industrial regulation. Uh, when we are uh, يعني aiming specific industry. By understanding the context in which the organization exists, the portfolio, the program, the project managers can tailor the optimal approach to risk management for their endeavor. Each business nature, each project have their own concerns, their own complexity, their own nature. So you need to understand the context in where you are working as a project manager, the business itself, in which category the business is for, and your position with the organization, when your position within the domain of the organization. Many factors can also impact the extent of risk management practices. Some of those factors include capital availability, which means the resources, competitive landscape, and the risk attitude. Both of them are reflecting um, to the organization itself. And this is very logical because we are talking about the organizational context. So we explained what is the risk attitude, and as a risk manager or a project manager, how you will manage the management style of your project is going to depend on your organizational risk attitude. Strategic goals and business objectives are developed. Uh, Now we are uh, recovering the strategic and organizational planning. Okay. So, and under this section, what is going to happen? The strategic goals and business objectives are developed to realize the organization vision and mission in line with the core value. So we have the mission and the vision. The mission and the vision will create a certain value. Okay. So our management is going to follow the organizational strategy to achieve those mission and vision. Once these goals and objectives are set, they become an input for the risk management. So this is the flow of the flow of the planning is coming from up to top. The management actually of the risk management is applied on both the top and the bottom of the pyramids. If there are potential conflicts between strategic goal and the portfolio of work, then the risk is escalated to the proper level of the management. Since our domains are structured in the pyramids style, it means that again the escalation process is going to happen in the same flow. And of course, not only the escalation process, also this can be applied on the approval or the authority level. Within each domain, there is a specific defined level of authority according to the authority matrix with the organization. And again, the governance board from the beginning should plan the escalation process and how it's going to be happened. Linking planning with execution through portfolio, program, and project management. Again, you will see that everything we talked about previously in the principles and in the success factor is applied with the context of the business. We said that here for our success, for our success, we need to tailor. For our success, we need to understand the communication, and we need to understand the plan of the risk management, and how each one is of the team members on the either they are juniors or seniors have a role in this plan. And the last thing we talked about integration. So getting back to the integration, linking planning with execution, it means that portfolio management serves as the bridge that connects strategic planning with business execution by forcing on selecting the right portfolio component, programs, projects, and operational initiatives or activities. Portfolio management enables organization to achieve alignment with the strategy, to invest their resource wisely and effectively. So the link start actually from the portfolio management level. Why? Because we have in the upper level, we have the mission and the vision, or the or we have the organization vision, right? And the strategic. Who's going to be responsible on applying them? Who's going to be responsible for selecting the right portfolio component? Is the portfolio management. Who's going to be responsible for aligning the vision from the top with the activities below it, with the activities of the program and the projects and the operation, is again the portfolio management, or the portfolio domain as a whole. Program and project management are then responsible for the implementation. Here's the link is happening. The vision is in the top. The portfolio management are structuring and articulating the proper program and with the right components, and they are providing the policies and procedure and everything related to the management of the risk. Now the execution of those strategic vision happen on that level. So as you can see, all the actions is happening in the program and the management level. But when you're talking about the portfolio management, actually it is about it's a control and governance level. Portfolio, program, and project managers work to identify, analyze, evaluate, prioritize, recommend, plan, and implement the risk responses. Monitor progress, adjust risk responses as appropriate. So they are the persons who are going to be responsible to evaluate those initially defined risk factors and give the priority according to the value of their impact on the business, and they communicate their recommendation, and they plan how they're going to manage those risk items if they occur, and implement the planned responses to them. While processing the right response to the risk factor, they need to monitor the progress of the work. They need to adjust the risk responses as appropriate. They need to monitor the progress, and if there is any required adjustment, we need to adjust the responses and the plan that we planned for our risk. As you can see, everything explain everything. You can see how now the principle is important, why the principles are important when we're trying to manage the risk. And you can see how we can understand the structure of the organization and why it is important to understand the risk of this, understand the domain and the position of your project within the structure. Right. Another thing we need to explore here in chapter 3, scope of accountability and responsibility and authority. Understanding what we already said will be easy, will make it easier for you even to understand what is the accountability. Like, let us say, first of all, let's explain what is accountability. Accountability, it means the person who's going to implement the change, the person who is responsible for the action, the person who's responsible for the action, right, is an individual by nature. It's the accountability is individual by nature and derived from position held in the organization. Accountability is related to authority in that one is usually held accountable within one's limit of authority. However, one still may be held accountable beyond one's authority to act. And this is the me actually, sorry, I confused the responsibility with the accountability. Actually, I explained the responsibility, but accountability, it means that the person who's going to be responsible for the action of the responsibility. Responsibility resides in an individual by the assignment of a function or a task. So the person who is executing or who is expediting the activity by accepting the assignment, an individual takes on the associated responsibility. The fact that other higher in the organization may also held responsible or accountable does not diminish the responsibility held by the individual. So what they're trying to say that everyone is responsible for the task that he is assigned to, and everyone is accountable according to the hierarchy. So think of it as a department. There is a manager, there is a director, there is a manager assistant, and there's of course the team members. Everyone is going to do his role. Everyone is assigned for a certain level of responsibility he needs to execute. So he's accountable he's accountable in front of his manager. And when it comes to the manager, everyone is reporting to him. But again, he is accountable in front of the director, and so on. Another important terminology we need to understand here, and I trust everyone knows those information already, is the authority. It is like responsibility may be delegated and gives an individual the ability to make decision within defined bounds. So the authority actually, it is something is given. It can be given to the accountable person. The authority also can be given to the responsible person. But again, there is a limitation to those authority. There is not a limitation, there is a boundaries to this authority. Okay. How is the accountability is established? It's actually established in the hierarchical of the organization, in the same style. You will find that each domain is accountable on front of the higher level of the organization. So the project managers are accountable, the program managers are accountable for the project manager action. Portfolios managers are accountable for both program and projects action. On the higher level, you find that the organization is accountable for all the actions below its management. So what is the accountability at the enterprise level consist of? The objectives of the risk management is to apply knowledge, skills, and good practices to manage the area of focus within the risk threshold that is acceptable to the organization, regardless its position with the organization framework. So the enterprise actually is responsible for defining all the needed items when it comes to risk management. But the objectives of all those planned items is under the responsibility of everyone, because the overall, as you can see, the the collection of all the levels will affect the whole organization. So although it is coming from the upper level, but whatever action is happening in each domain is affecting the whole organization. So it is the objective actually is the proper or the professional management of the risk, regardless of the domain. But who's going to be accountable for it? Again, once we are going upper in the hierarchy, it means the accountability level is higher. The purpose is to minimize the impact of threats, to protect the organization from loss, and to embrace opportunities of value. We agreed from the beginning why we are managing the risk. We are managing the risk again to reduce we are managing to reduce the threats and to increase the beneficial impact on the business. So it means, in another word, it means that to have a good understanding, or to be, how to say it, or to take a proactive action from the beginning, to be more predictable, to have more predictability, or to have understanding predictability, higher understanding of the predictable items that might affect our organization. The management of risk across the continuum of portfolios, program, and projects require the collaboration through the organization enterprise. We already explained that. And the recognition that failure to allocate the appropriate amount of resource could jeopardize the organizational or the organization's strategic objectives. We agreed that we have something called overall risk. So even if we have several individual risks that seems of non-impactful impact on the business, the holistic or the combination of the individual risk might render the organization business as well. The managers of the work are responsible for seeking senior management appraised of ongoing risk exposure and corresponding actions. Okay, so accountability on the portfolio level. We need to understand some basic things about the portfolio. As you can see from your previous experience or work exposure, that we have a temporary portfolios, and in some companies the portfolios are prolonged as long as the organization is there. So in some cases, portfolio exists for short period. On another examples, portfolios often exist for long as the organization itself exists. Why it is important to understand the duration? Because the time actually is a resource. So you, as a project manager, you need to understand your resource. You need to optimize your resource. Portfolios encompasses external and internal factors, as the organization, as the project, as the program, everything, every items within the organization, every component. And we are saying component, we are referring to the projects. Every project might be affected by internal or external factor. Portfolio risk management considers risk that could impact unrelated components and operational activities within the portfolio. Here they are telling us what the component that might affect, what is the from where the risk is arise. It can be arise either from the operational activities or from the component within within the umbrella of the portfolio or program. As a result, the portfolio's manager address several challenges when manages the risk. Again, their work is to be the bridge between the vision, between the objectives, between the strategy, and again, with the projects and other operational activity. That's why yesterday I told you, please focus that when we are talking about portfolio, the portfolio consists of operational activities. But when I'm talking about program, there you will not find any operational activities. In the project, you will not find any operational activities. Again, we said operation is a repetitive processes of with that the outcome of this repetitive actually is generating money revenue. Accountability at program level. At the program level, the risks that are evaluated span the related components. We are considering each component. We are doing our scan. We are checking the risk with each component. And if triggered, it means that we set already the organization portfolio or the governance of the organization already set the triggers, and if triggered could have a positive impact on one or more and or other components. Working with components manager, it is the responsibility of the program manager to identify and manage these risks rather than manage these risks individually. So the program managers actually are mostly considered about the impact on not only the project. The project risk management is the responsibility of the project manager. When this risk is affecting the program, now the program manager is going to interfere. Within the component, program managers to ensure that program risks are managed through the coordination. And of course, every management, we said that the program, the components of the program have related, they are of a related nature. So the effect of one project within the program will affect the other project. So they need to coordinate the management of the risk. Within the program, risk can affect the delivery of a specific component. The program managers advise their component manager of any shared risk and response plan that's related to the individual components. So I believe, Ahsan, you asked what if the other manager work is affecting my work. So, and we said at that time, you're responsible for your project. And whenever there is a risk that affecting your project and it is not under your responsibility, then you need to follow the proper escalation process to indicate or to alarm to the risk that is happening to the project. But who's going to apply the proper risk management in this case, enforce it, is the program manager. There may be economies of scale and scope in the risk may be managed by initiation on risk response at the program level. Here, what they are trying to say that there is an external factors that might not be of relation to the internal management of the project, but again, the risk manager in the program level, he need to initiate the proper response to that risk, although it is an external one, like inflation, increased inflation rate in certain country, or like war situation in other countries. Those elements also need to be managed in the program level. The last level we're talking here about is the project level. Yes, in the last session we explained that there is a certain constraints to each project, which is the scope, which is the schedule, and the budget. Those elements or the cost, those elements actually is under the responsibility of the project manager. While he is monitoring, while is the project manager executing the work, and he encounter any change that might affect the scope, now in this case, in this stage, he need to use the proper escalation. Okay. So the objectives of risk management at the project level is to decrease the probability of negative risk and to increase the probability of the impact of positive risk specific to the project deliverables or objectives. You can see always always the objective of managing the risk is to decrease the negative impact and increase the positive impact, regardless of the level that is the project manager is or the regardless of the component or the domain, right? But what is going to be different is the level and the impactness is going to be different. Yani, what I'm trying to say is a project failure effect is not the same as a program failure effect. An operational activities effect, failure effect is not as program failure effect. Project managers' accountabilities manage both individual and overall project risk within the constraints, cost, scope, schedule, evaluating and reporting, escalation to the PMO or to the governance body or to the risk governance. Team responsibility, identification of risk during initiation and awareness of the new risk, clarification of the triggers event. طيب. We agreed from the beginning, one of the principles of the risk management actually is to enhance or to create the adaptive culture for the risk. So how are they going to establish this? By influencing the adaptive culture of risk. This can be applied from the team, from the working team. You need to educate, you need to coach your team how they are going to encounter risk, how they are going to identify those risky items, and how they need to how they can communicate them. The team, mostly the team members, they are the people who are responsible for communicating the trigger event. The project manager and the risk manager, they are both responsible for processing the triggering event. They are the one who are setting the rules for the team to follow. Right. Some of the why it is not shown. Here's some items that we need general understanding of risk that we need to cover in the last section. Some risk factor evaluating. Right. From the beginning, we agreed that the first step in anything is to have it listed. You need to identify the risk. This is your first item as a project manager to do, right? How you are going to create your risk register. First of all, you need to understand and you need to coach the team to understand what is the hidden fact, what is the emergent risk, what is the fact requirement, what is the classic risk. They need to understand the concept. What is the known risk? What is the known unknown risk? Actually, what are these terminologies? In order for the risk management to take place in different domains, you need to identify first the probability and the impact. We agreed that risk actually is a futuristic event, right? So there is a probability or uncertainty. So there is a probability that risk might happen or not happen. And then you need, with your team, help to evaluate the impact of this probability. So what is the impact? Let's first explain what is the probability. The probability as a definition is the chance of a risk encountering can range from slightly above 0 to just below 100. If it is reached the 100, then it means it is an issue now, or it is a benefit now. If it is less than 0, it means it doesn't exist. Okay, so what is the probability now of this risk item if it is happen? I need to understand the impact. The impact of risk, should they occur, can have either positive or negative consequences for the organization. If we are talking about organization, or it can be of a negative or positive consequences on the project if we are talking about project. Let us just take a look on example of a risk register. How we should register our risk. First of all, we use different tools like, for example, brainstorming or interview or uh, uh, analysis like the SWOT analysis, etc. Then we have a list of items that might occurs to our project. Of course, also we can use our reviewing our lesson learned or our historical reservoir to also to estimate the risk items. Then we are going to give it a citation like the status, the ID number, and the type of the threats. Is it opportunity or threat, and the category. And this, of course, any company have their own style of registering or have their own style when they're creating the templates that they are using. Then you will define the title of the risk, give it a description, and then what is the current status in of this risk within the organization. You will give it a probability, a scale, give it a measurement scale. Then you will give it also a level of impactness, and then you might add the cost, you might add the time is used to manage the impact, or when this impact is going to be realized, and what is the rational justification for this risk, and then what is the strategy that you are going to use according to it means that you are planning your action toward this risk, and then what is going to be actually placed in once we are in face with this issue or benefit, and who's going to be responsible in front of me when this issue is going to happen. And of course, you might add a version of update or a version of a column for closing the issue, or who's going to be monitoring this issue. This is just a quick example of how risk is a register established, and how you can articulate this document. As you can see, actually it is a risk. The risk management is the responsibility of the team. So always when you are trying to dictate the risk, you need to sit with the team. You need to sit with the stakeholders to collect the needed information to build up your risk register. Actually, and this is the first step that you need to do when you are managing the risk management. Another general concept that we need to understand, last session also we agreed that there is a life cycle for everything, and there is a process group that the professional manager or the successful manager need to implement when managing any knowledge area. So the first one here is the life cycle of the risk management, which is to start by planning the risk management, and then identifying the risk, as you can see in the risk register, performing the qualitative risk analysis, and then the quantitative risk analysis, plan the risk response, and implement the risk response. Lastly, you need to monitor those risks closely. If they are still occurring, if they are closed, if they are about to happen, according to the stage of the risk at any particular point in the project. The risk management life cycle described in this section for undertaking the comprehensive view of risk throughout the enterprise portfolio, program, and project domains. And of course, this life cycle, when we are applying the life cycle of the risk management, whatever you are going to
Can I ask
impose,
one question here? I
tell me,
raised my
please.
hand. Button.
Yeah, please tell me.
How we analyze the qualitative and quantitative risk by
We will we will explain it.
probability and
Yeah, we
and
will explain it later. We will explain it in details. Don't worry about that. Now we are
oh,
talking about introduction. So just
oh,
we will build our information in an elaborative way. So now we need just to understand the concepts. So when we are going to take more details about each process within the process group, it will make it easier for you to proceed. So
okay,
don't worry about that.
okay,
طيب. So I was trying to say that those life cycle actually is whatever you are applying to the project, you need to apply it to the program. You need to apply it. You need to apply it to the enterprise. You need to apply it to the portfolio. So this is a life cycle that is special, or that is characterized for the risk management. Even though the way of managing risk differs between those domains, of course, why they are different? Because the objective of each domain is different. So although you are applying this to those different domains from one organization to, and of course, also it will be different from organization to organization. But the overall life cycle approach outlines the sequence of logical phase that can be iterated. The risk management life cycle has a dedicated procedure, an iterative workflow of activities and processes supported and performed across the enterprise within the portfolio, the program, and the project domains. What I'm trying here to say, it is not like a step that you just do from the beginning and that's it. No, it have an iterative style. While you are proceeding with, for example, with the planning stage, even from that step, you need to apply your risk management. When you are doing the execution of the project, you need to apply again those steps within the same chronological events to the process that you are working in. Because of the evolutionary nature of risk, the risk management life cycle ensure a repeatable workflow of a process that supports strategic decision making. Although all these activities are performed in an integrated way within and across the portfolio, program, and project domains. And we already explained the importance of working in integrated style and the importance of the alignment. Okay. Uh, by this slide, we close the introduction, and we close the first 3 chapters. I would like just to have some discussion with you guys. Let me share this one. These are questions. Actually, it is good also just to make sure that our understanding is in line. So I need your help here, guys. You still can see my screen, right? Hello? So wait.
Screen is closed, ma'am.
Yeah.
Only you see the team.
Okay. Okay. You can see my screen صح still window PMP. طيب. We have Muhammad, Julian, Ahsan, Yasser, Salim. طيب, Muhammad, can you help me and start by reading the first question?
Screen is here to be
yes,
visible.
Okay, please, Mohammed, start with question number one.
The members of a project teams are not taking their risk management responsibilities seriously. They do not consider risk management as primary to the project success and do not believe that the benefits are significant. What should the risk management manager do?
Okay, what are the options?
The options alpha is motivate and influence the project team with risk engagement activities like workshops. Option
Okay.
beta is ensure that the risk language used by all stakeholders is consistent with the risk management plan. Option Charlie is schedule a meeting to review and develop realistic risk threshold with the project team. And option Delta is ensure that risk management responsibilities are clearly identified in the risk management plan.
طيب. Okay. طيب, Muhammad, from the question, what do you understand? What is missing there from the question? Just regardless of the uh, the choices, what can you tell from the question?
Just give me a 1 minute. Let me understand this.
Yeah. Members of a project team are not taking their risk management responsibilities seriously. So it means that the culture is not yet established. They do not consider risk management as a primary to the project success and do not believe that the benefits are significant. What should the manager do? Remember, we talked about and I closed it. We talked about the risk fact, the success factor. We said what are the success factor? Let me put this. This is in the screen. Recognizing the value of risk management. This is our first success factor, right? So what is missing here, in your opinion? And by the way, in the PMI exam is actually about, mostly they will give you all the choices are right, but it is about choosing the most appropriate answer. So ensure that the risk language please, first of all, what is going to be your choice? I want to hear it from you. What are you going to select, Muhammad? Give it a chance, يعني.
To
What you
conclude,
want.
what's it missing?
And I'll tell you, I think what is missing is the culture. They didn't yet adopt the risk management culture. So how the project manager is going to do this? By communication, right? By coaching, by using his skills, like motivating others, meeting with them, discussing the importance of them, setting the value, the importance of understanding the value. It is easier for people to adapt things once they understand the value of it, right? So
Yes.
what is going to be the answer in your opinion? طيب,
Option alpha would be right. Motivate and
your
influence project team with risk.
exactly. طيب, how you are going to exclude? يعني مثلا أنا here from the beginning I scratch off this one. لأنه what they are saying, develop realistic risk threshold. First of all, the project manager is not responsible for making the threshold. If we are in organization, the threshold is something is going to be forced, not discussed with the team, right? This is not يعني something that I can change. I need to build my risk threshold according to the organization appetite or to the organization attitude, right? So this is excluded. Ensure the risk management responsibility are clearly identified in the risk management plan. Okay, it should be clearly identified, but identified not in the risk management plan to the team in this case, right? So this also is going to be excluded. Ensure the risk language used by the stakeholder is consistent within the risk management plan. Again, this is not, we're not talking about the risk management plan. Now we are in execution stage. So both B and D are not suitable. So the first thing I need to build the culture. How I will do this by motivating and influence the project team activities like workshop. Come on. Okay. Yasser, can you read question 2?
Can you
Thank
tell
you,
me what
Muhammad.
is the answer of the question first?
It is A, motivate and influence people. I need you to understand why we selected A. First of all, if you are not going to know, yani, without even looking or considering the options, members of the
Actually,
project team are
sir,
not taking
also that
their.
I
Tell
I
me.
just want to make sure that it is the same A is choose, or because actually I'm driving the car, so therefore I choose the option A, but I just want to make confirm, is it the A or the
Yeah,
another?
it is A. Who is driving? This is a risk factor.
I'm driving actually. Today is
It- Stay
chaos.
safe, please. Be
Yeah.
careful. Okay. Uh, why it is like that? Where can I see you guys? How can I open the current page? You can see my screen, صح?
Yes, we can see.
Same the question was.
Yeah. Here. طيب. Who was driving actually أحسن or ياسر؟
Ihsan.
Ahsan.
إحسان. طيب إحسان, I will not ask you. Then طيب ياسر, can you please read the second question?
A risk manager facing resistance as they try to implement the project risk strategy. Some member of the project team believe it is a waste of time and money. What should the risk manager do? A. Reduce the number of risk management activity. Raise the concern with the project sponsor. Meet with team member to address their concern. Continue to implement the risk strategy.
What are you going to choose? A risk manager faces resistance, so you need to manage the team, right? The stakeholder. So what we are focusing here is managing stakeholder under the risk management knowledge area. So what is the first thing he need to do? Some member of the project believe it is a waste of time and money. And okay, so they don't understand the value. So what is the first thing that you need to do as a project manager here? طيب.
Let me
Let,
read again.
let us take it step by step. Read option number 1. Reduce the number of risk management activities. Raise the concern to the project. This, يعني whenever you see this option and they are not talking about constraints and there is no change control board, you need to exclude this answer. This is mostly always is wrong. You will not take problems to the sponsor as a project manager. So this one is out. Continue to implement the risk strategy. You will do this. Of course, you will continue to do this. But first, how you will break down the resistance of the team member. So this is right, but not in this
Is the
stage.
concern we can reduce the resistance. The option C.
Option C, meet with the team. Always consider communication as a first step. Communication, defining the problem, and then trying to solve the problem. So the first thing to do as a project manager is to dig more into details, right? So how we will do this? By meet with the team members. C is the right option. طيب. Julian, can you please read number 3?
Yes. Still it is not appearing.
Yeah. If you can please, Julian, read question number 3.
Yeah, I am waiting to appear screen till now. It is not.
You can see the screen?
No, till now, no.
You don't see the screen?
Yeah, till now I didn't see the screen.
Really? From the beginning of the class?
Yeah. Till now,
Or,
till
or
now. No. I'm seeing the screen. The second question is there, still there.
really? طيب. Everyone is like that, or
Yeah.
only you?
Now I'm seeing the. Now I'm seeing the screen is my screen is showing answer is C. That's it. That 4 option and like bottom of the answer.
طيب, now
Till now
now
I'm
you
not
can see
seeing
it.
C.
Now you can see it.
No, till now no. Yes. A project manager wants to introduce a new technology to improve a project's performance. However, there are some costs associated that are beyond the current budget, and the proposed technology has not been applied to any previous company projects. What should the project manager do in this situation?
Yeah.
Option A, outsource the implementation of the new technology as soon as possible. Option B, exec- uh, escalate this uh, initiative to the project decision maker and sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, B is not there. Take advantage of this opportunity of improving the project performance.
Mm-hmm.
D is accept the fact that there is a risk associated with the new technology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. طيب. A project manager wants to introduce new technology. So why it is a risk factor? Because it is new. So they are not familiar with it before.
Yeah.
The team maybe the team
Yeah.
doesn't have the understanding of this technology, how to implement it, how to work with it. Okay, so this is our risk factor. It is new, so it might. This is the first thing, and introduce new technology. So this one actually it have an opportunity nature, not a risk. So it is an opportunity that the project manager need to seek, but there is a risk in seeking this opportunity. طيب. However, there are some costs associated with that. Beyond the current budget, he is a project manager and he have a cost constraint. Remember, in last session, we said that we have 3 constraints. The cost,
Mm.
the cost,
Forecast and schedule.
yeah, the cost and the time and the scope,
Yeah,
right?
schedule and the scope. Scope.
Exactly. So time, cost, and scope. So in this case, the cost is beyond the budget. So he is reaching to a cost constraint. And we agreed that the project manager need to manage the project within the constraints. So in this issue, he need to what to do? In your opinion, what does the project manager needs to do? Right? The project
Yeah.
manager need to escalate.
Cost is cost management.
Yeah. So escalate this
Need to
initiative to
report
the
to the top
project.
management. Yeah.
Exactly. So the answer is B. Why? Because يعني you need to look at the
affecting the
question.
cost.
Yeah. So actually the question have many angles. They are talking about opportunity, and the opportunity itself have a risk, a threat nature, but it is an opportunity for advancing or for advancing the projects, right? But again, the cost is beyond the budget. So immediately, if there is any cross line, any crossing to the constraints, immediately we need to escalate. Let's say if the cost here was time schedule, then immediately you need to escalate. What if the cost here was not cost, was a scope? You need immediately to escalate. Accept the fact that there is a risk. Of course, once you are putting any risk in your risk register from the beginning, there is a threshold, right? And there is a threshold and there is a tolerance. We agreed there is two terminology that we need to understand. So if this within the risk threshold, then it means that we already have this in our register, have this in our risk register. If it is within the tolerance, then we will accept it, right? If it is within the tolerance range, it
Yes.
means that we will accept it. So actually, this is not an answer by all means. Although the sentence is very logical, but it is yani, not answering anything. This is actually an action, how we will deal with the risk, which is not here, which is not, they are still in the initial stage. Outsource the implementation. Outsourcing also, it means that we accepted that we are recognizing the risk, and yeah, and we are doing an action here. So this also, D and E, an example for an action. So we are still in the beginning. We're still in the initiation. So A and D, they are not our answer. Take advantage of this opportunity of to improving the project performance. Okay, actually, they are explaining what is the benefit of having. Yeah, they're explaining what they are have. What is the opportunity that we are going to benefit by introducing this one. So also, this is not an answer. Actually, it is like a statement. Right. Thank you, Julian. Thank you. طيب. Uh,
Actually, answer are showing to hide the answers. So let them
you
test.
you Hassan, drive carefully, please. Listen only. Muhammad, who's the first one? Muhammad, who is this? Muhammad is here. Muhammad already contribute. Julian is here. Yasser already here. Salim. Salim, can you
I
please
am the
read?
one.
Okay, Salim, can you please read this slide, this question?
Yeah. What what are three examples of risks thresholds? Choose three. A construction company walks away from a joint venture project proposal due to a 30% chance of loss.
طيب, before you exceed to the options, threshold, we talk what is the design of the threshold? What is the threshold always? We agreed what about how you define it? Can you define
Z-
it?
That was actually 0 to 100%. You told that is
Yeah,
increasing.
yeah,
Yeah.
upper than, yeah, it means it have
If
maximum.
anything less than zero, then there is no risk. And if from 0 to the 100, anything increasing, it's the increasing risk
So threshold
or
always,
opportunity. Yeah.
so threshold always comes in a style of range, right?
Okay. Yeah.
يلا دحين please read the answers.
Okay. A
Choose
construction
three.
company walks
Choose three,
away
huh?
from a joint venture project proposal due to a 30% chance of loss. A business unit agreed that top project risk with more than $100 million impacts would be escalated. See, a project has defined the project level risk rating metrics based on the likelihood of a occurrence and possible consequences of scale and budget, scale and cost. Okay. An organization seeks to establish a consistent method for evaluating and responding to risk across the a risk with a less than 1 month scheduled delay will be communicated through the areas of concern section in the project status report instead of the risk register.
Okay.
Okay.
So you are going to look for ranges, for numbers. This is how
Yep.
you answer a threshold question.
Okay. The
So
first one is within the range of 30%. Okay. Do I have to take option A, B, C like one? Because there are two, three. What are three examples?
yeah,
So
choose 3.
from here, we have 5, correct? From 5, I have to take 3. The first is okay. A should be there. There is a percentage and there is a risk, which is
So
involving
you
this one.
selected you selected A, okay?
Okay. Even B is there because there is a monetary value. So
Yeah.
this value is there means we can take this one, define the project risk rating metrics based on the likelihood of okay, and organize a consistent method. Now comes I'm toss up with C and A since
C
both
and
are
D, a
having two
project.
things.
طيب, okay.
Yeah,
A project طيب, let us read C. A project has defined the project level risk rating matrix based on the likelihood of occurrence and possible consequences of. This is an example of what here they are talking
schedule
about
and cost. Yes.
probability and impacts. So here
Okay.
they are talking about what? About defining the risk. So this is definitely not our answer.
Okay.
Probability, they are rating maximum. So remember when we said that, let me open the this one. لا هنا risk PMP course and third risk register. Remember when we said that to identify risk in the beginning, we need to understand the probability and the impact, and we will do the analysis on it, right? The analysis is we're going to do the analysis. It means that we need to do quantitative and qualitative. So here is an example.
Yep.
They did the qualitative. It means they already said, is it
Done
the
this.
category, the risk itself. This is quantity. And now the quantitative, actually they give it a number, high, 8, level, like that, high, low, moderate. This is the quantity side of it. So still here, they are under, this is not related to the threshold by all means. They didn't tell us there is a maximum, there is a number that if I see this number, it means that I will take action. Here, if they walk away, they took the action to walk away because the threshold is here. The business agreed to top up project risk with more than, this is our threshold. يعني this is the
Yeah.
number indicate the threshold. طيب I'll tell you why you choose your E is right. A risk is less than 1 month, 30 days.
Yeah.
It has scheduled time, 30 days. Less than 30 days. So your choice will be E, right?
Yes.
So A, B, E. Okay. Thank you, Salah. Uh, okay. Ahsan, are you still driving? Or you can read the last question? Not the last question. Then if you like, if you're not driving and you like to read the question, please proceed. Otherwise, who is this Mudathir? Mudathir, right?
Yeah, Mudassir.
Mudathir, can you please read the question? Number 5.
He is also driving.
Really? طيب, Muhammad, please, can you read question number 5?
Yes. The risk manager is facilitating risk planning activities with the team. The team is documenting all the checkpoints along the way that might indicate delays on the critical deliverables. What is
Checkpoint
this an example of?
might.
C.
What is your choice?
Can I answer now? I
D.
finished my driving.
Yeah, please answer.
D,
D. Why?
because it's the trickling that might indicates delay.
Yes, it is about risk is about to occur. So the answer is D. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. This is the last one. The last question. طيب, okay, thank you guys. This is it for today. We finished the introduction. Inshallah, from next week we'll start the knowledge area, actually, which is about the cycle. Do anyone of you have any question?